Today we're going to take a quick look at the 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Now under the hood you can still get a 5.7 liter V8 Hemi rated at 14 to 20 miles per gallon. It's useful for heavy duty driving like off-roading or towing. Otherwise I suggest you get the 3.6 liter V6. It's got just under 300 horsepower, 290 by the last specs, hooked to an 8-speed automatic transmission, rated at 17 to 25 miles per gallon, which incidentally is what I've been getting. It's a sweet engine, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. One of the biggest complaints in the past Grand Cherokees was the interior, and they were justified. It was just a, well, let's just say bad interior, bad quality, cheap plastic. I can go on and on, but we don't have to worry about that in the new model. This new interior is very, very nice. The materials are of decent quality. The workmanship, at least on this one, was very good. You've got a nice steering wheel design. The gauge cluster is nice to look at. Very simple, clean. We get actual knobs on the air conditioning and radio controls. Thank you very much. If we open up the glove box, you would see there's lots of room in here. And this console just below me has lots of room also. We get map pockets in the back. And sitting in the back seat, there's plenty of room here. Headroom, and the seats are very comfortable too. Overall, Chrysler did a pretty good job upgrading the interior here. It's about time. Grand Cherokee design is fairly attractive, but there is one complaint we had. It concerns the outer body panel. The outer body panel right here collects dirt and mud, which goes directly to your pants when you're stepping in and out. This is becoming a common problem on many brands of cars, and I find it very annoying. The female passengers who had white pants on when I was driving didn't appreciate it either, but there's not much we can do about that. In everyday driving, this Grand Cherokee has a lot going for it, and that brings us back to the 3.6 liter V6 engine and the 8-speed automatic. This engine has more than enough power. This is a 2-wheel drive, by the way, so I'm carrying a little bit less weight. But I've driven these in 4-wheel drive, and there's more than adequate torque to pull you out of any situation. Right now, with the highway driving and city driving, I'm getting just over 21 miles per gallon. As far as the other driving characteristics, there are no complaints here. The steering has great feel, feedback, and response, at least for what is basically a truck. The ride is comfortable. The handling is pretty good for what is considered to be an off-road vehicle. The brakes are nice and firm. I did take a highway trip a few days ago, racking up about 250 miles. I found this vehicle very comfortable to drive. Overall, Jeep has done a pretty good job of improving this vehicle for daily driving. One thing that was hard to get used to is what I call the old swizzle stick. Unlike other shifters where you just pull it back and forward to place it in an individual gear, this one is simply once forward or once back, and then the computer or automatic gizmo, whatever you want to call it, puts it in the right gear. But it doesn't always do what you tell it, at least until you've had some practice. Some people are going to have a problem with this at first, but once you figure it out in a few days, you'll get used to it. Just a little quirk you have to be aware of when you first start driving. And for the record, you do get pedal shifters on the steering wheel if you don't like messing with this much. A good feature to have, by the way. Well, I have to be honest, I was never a fan of the Grand Cherokee line, at least the previous older models. They were just too outdated. Outdated engines, lousy looking interior, a few quality issues. but based on what I'm seeing here, this is a far improved vehicle, and the more I drive it, the more I like it. Especially for the price, which we'll talk about at the end of the segment. Even though this is considered an off-road vehicle, you will be driving on the freeway occasionally, of course. And the performance of the Grand Cherokee at the 75 mile per hour plus highway speeds is excellent. Got very good stability. The suspension is reasonably comfortable. There is a bit of wind noise around the bodywork, which you would expect on a box-shaped vehicle, but the body itself is well insulated. And at these speeds, I'm getting around 22 to 23 miles per gallon. If you want to get the 25 miles per gallon listed on the price sticker, you're going to have to drop down to 60, 65 miles per hour, which I have no intention of doing here on the interstate. I also might mention again, these seats are very comfortable. It's about time Chrysler put some good sitting gear in the Grand Cherokee, and they did, and it worked out just fine. Now it's time to get out and do some four-wheeling. I think I'd like this Jeep better if it had an automatic garage door opener for my house. Alright, I've used the same gag in all my other videos, so you might have seen this before, but I still think it's funny. If you're going to get a Jeep, you better plan on doing some off-roading, otherwise there's no point in having one. And this basic vehicle with the V6 engine and two-wheel drive does fairly well. For those who have more heavy-duty uses in mind, there are the usual options. There are several four-wheel drive systems you can buy for extra money. There's an air suspension that can raise it to almost a foot for crawling over big rocks. Of course, both of these options add weight, so you might want to go to the 5.7 liter Hemi V8 to pull it all. And once you rack up all these goodies, you can look at a price tag around $45,000 versus $28,000 for what we're driving here. Of course, either way, it's your choice. But so far, I'm enjoying this basic vehicle quite well. One thing I like about going outdoors in a Jeep is finding your secret hiding spots. This is one of my favorite spots. They've got a nice 3-year supply of firewood. A high-tech fireplace to burn it in. A nice comfy chair in the family room. An extra fireplace for guests. And last, a game table, a trash bin, and of course, wouldn't be the same without a barbecue. And in the tree trunk, some emergency rations from the Stone Brewing Company, just in case. Now just a footnote here. No four-wheeling adventure would be complete without making a stop at the old ranch and visiting my friend Sammy. He would be insulted if I didn't. Well, there he is. Sammy the Bull. Well, he's not really a bull, but he's just as mean as one. Every time I come out here in an SUV with like painted red, he wants to ram my radiator. Let's see what he does with a white one. Uh-oh, he's not running away. Looks got mean look on his face. Well, if I was brave, I could get out and say hello, but I don't think that's a good idea. I'm not Bear Grylls. Here, boy. Come on. Well, so much for my death-defying feat. As I said earlier, the base price of the Grand Cherokee runs around $29,000, but it comes pretty much fully equipped at that price. The big V6 engine, 8-speed automatic, all the power goodies. On this particular vehicle, it came to $31,000 because of the aluminum wheels and some USB gadgetry that I never used. Add to that the Chrysler rebates and discounts, and you probably get one of these for around $26,000, $27,000. Of course, if you load it up with the Hemi, the air suspension, four-wheel drive systems, and other rather expensive items, you could end up at $45,000. Not such a great deal, but I'd want to get a bigger rebate at that level. But so equipped, this is a very capable SUV. You can run up the air with the expensive vehicles like the Range Rovers and the like. So this is a much improved vehicle. If you're looking for an off-road vehicle you can drive every day, it's certainly worth a look. As always, we have other Jeep videos on YouTube. Just punch in my name. We need all the hits we can get.